Wow, today's a really good one, and it is 100% straight predictions about what's happening this year, starting with next month. If you're watching this in February, March, specific dates, what's happening, and the choice we have. This is by a guy you may be familiar with, Chris Bledsoe, and I have documented everything that he spoke of, information that was given to him by what he calls the Lady in White, sort of a Fatima kind of thing that appears to him. I'll talk a little bit about what that is. You're going to want to subscribe and click the bell because I'm going to have a couple videos on this as we move into this really shocking, and these are direct predictions about March, what's happening, and the amazing choices we have now that I believe absolutely are going to come to fruition in a very positive way. So you ready for this? Let's go. Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube. The whole channel is breaking through fear. Break you through it. It is a human condition. Accept it. Without it, we don't get to experience contrast. We came here perfect, but we have veils so that we can know darkness, sadness, loss. And so through this, we have trials and tribulations that allow us to become amazing and make the higher choices and go into what I call the penthouse. My father has many mansions. What does that mean? There are numerous, endless realities, endless, in forms that we can't even imagine. And they exist here in the unseen world too. We're going to talk a little bit about that. I hope that you will subscribe and click that bell because you're going to want to hear what I'm coming out with in the next weeks. Actually, this year's going to be very exciting. I've experienced some things. I'm going to share that with you also, but you're going to want to hear what Bledsoe said. Those of you who want to join my membership, you're going to get these videos before everybody else. I go in there live every week, and I drop videos in there just thinking about a few things that I do share with you. So that link is down in the description along with all kinds of amazing things to improve your life. A lot of free stuff. I'm here to serve. Are you ready to get started on this? So who's Chris Bledsoe? He's a prominent figure in the study of aerial phenomenon and consciousness. He supposedly was abducted. I always say supposedly because, not everybody's on board with that. About 14 years ago, when he was at a super low point, I mean, borderline didn't want to be on the face of the planet. We've heard that before. You go into these awakened states or you have these amazing breakthroughs. Some of those are the most amazing times in your life because it allows you to release the ego that's not working so well for you, right? And that's what happened to him. He and his son were abducted. Now, he has shared all of that. I'm going to share some of these details as we shoot videos in the next few weeks. But today, I want to talk specifically about his predictions. So Bledsoe, he has life experiences that include orbs, non-human entities. He claims that when he was on this craft, that these entities that he says, he almost refers to them as angels, not necessarily alien beings from another planet. He actually doesn't know, and he says that, but they healed his Crohn's disease, which was so horrible. I don't know if you're familiar with it. You can't be away from a bathroom for long. And he was cured of this. All right, he has arthritis now. That's another story. Who knows why these things happen? This was spontaneous. Since that day, he has experienced orbs, light beings, and visitations, in particular from what he calls the Lady in White, has appeared to him after 5 years of him, people thinking he was a nut job, right? Banned from the church. Isn't that sort of ironic? The church bans these people. Like, aren't they the ones that are supposed to say, come in, everybody's welcome? It doesn't work that way. So he's sort of pulled away from that. He's much more spiritual now, and he was quite religious at the time. So after 5 years, he said, I quit. And this golden lady in white, appeared, sort of a Mother Mary kind of figure. He's not sure. He likens her as just creation. And he said that she came to him and started sharing information and revealing our future. Now, he has just recently shared what that future is because it was horrific, but there's really good news that comes with that. As you know, when I give you predictions, prophecies from hundreds of years ago, the final message is the same. It is all within your hands to change. They are not predictions of the future. They're warnings of what we're in for if we don't change it. All right? It's what we're going toward based on our current frequency. We're changing it right now, and I see a totally different future. Now, I want to address December before I go into what's going to happen in March, supposedly. In December, if you watch my videos, I shared with you a major shift happened. I felt it. I feel like everything looked different. I felt like a different person. Did you go through this? My life changed completely. I'm revamping my business. I took a contract in this amazing company, this television network, loving the people that want to do good things. I just elevated everything. And I said, something big happened in December. Well, Chris Bledsoe just recently said he shifted huge in December. I thought that was ironic because I didn't know what that meant or what was going on then. But he said that he had a major shift in December. He felt it, that something happened. Is that the collective consciousness? I believe it is. I believe the collective took us into another timeline, but only if you participate, right? If you're in the basement, you don't know what's happening in the penthouse, and you're telling me, nothing's happening, Landria, nothing's changed. I said, you're right. If you're in the basement, you'll have no clue what's happening in the penthouse. Remember, we have floors along the way. These are your lessons and challenges. Don't try to escape them. Some of you have said, I just want to go to the penthouse. I said, it doesn't work that way. You came from the penthouse. You have to experience the basement all the way and all the floors up, solve the problem, the teachings, master things, and then you get there. That's what planet Earth is. Accept it and go along. I told you, buckle up that seatbelt because that's going to be a bumpy ride. That's what we're here for, the roller coaster ride. You must master the things that are going to appear to you that allow you to go to the next level. They are gifts. So if you say you have an illness or a relationship busts up or all these things, instead of just, oh, this has to go away, say, what in this allows me to become something masterful? All right? Can I go into self-healing? Why did it show up in the first place? How am I going to handle this? Am I going to just let go? And this is the biggest thing. Let go. Trying to control everything. That's the ego, and it will never work in your favor. Wanting people to be different, wanting this to not be this way, but it is. Just remember, I want to remind you of this as I move forward with you in all of these predictions. You are already perfect. You don't have to look for it someplace else. You don't, my higher self, I hear this all the time. What's your higher self? What's this? This is it. You just have to reveal it. You have pockets in your tattered robes, loaded, loaded with jewels. You just haven't reached into those pockets, my friend. There's nothing to look for. It's all here. It exists all at one time. Is that working for you? It's your story. I'm not going to work with somebody who chooses that, and it is a choice. So if you're feeling that way, you're choosing to feel that way or believe that, and you can change that. And this is what we're going to talk about today, is the choice is going to take us to a completely new space. So he talks about how this human thought interacts with all of this consciousness that is here, always active with us. And this is why your thoughts manifest like this. It is you creating at all times. It's not something I ask for and then it happens out there if somebody decides I'm worthy of it. You think it and it exists. The universe says yes. There's no delay in anything. You and it are one. So if I do this, I didn't have to wait for the smack. I smacked. That's it. That's your request. So people are going into higher frequencies and eliminating the negative thoughts. So he said back in, let's see, I think it was about 14 years ago when she came to him, he said that he saw horrific things. And the message was when Israel and Iraq start to exchange missiles, then you will see a major shift of basically chaos. It was going to start everything, and it wasn't good. But she always told him, these things can be changed. Now, here's the exciting part. So human thought and psychic abilities interact with this space out here that is actually creating that golden era if we choose it. If you don't, you will personally be able to live in hell on earth. It is a personal choice. Those of you who think you go along for the ride, you don't. We share the ride, we're aware of the ride, but your existence and your reality could be completely different than somebody else's if you choose the higher thoughts. Doesn't mean you won't experience some sadness and really, as Bledsoe said, I feel it, you probably feel it, when there's damage or somebody harms the planet, animals, old people, babies, it hurts. That's not going to go away. That's the experience, the human experience that motivates you to do something about it. Okay. That is in there purposely. So you won't just sit and say, yeah, okay, big whoop. So we killed a few trees. Those feelings and that compassion, that empathy allows you to now go into a space of action to make a change. So he said what's happening is that because we're going into this space, we are shifting toward the divine feminine energy that's happening this year. It's currently healing a world plagued by division. He says that the true disclosure is not the government. I always say this. What government's never going to release disclosure? They're about military and protection and secrets. Why do we need them to disclose anything? We already know that there's other forms here. We don't understand them, but we know that exists. We don't have to be afraid, but they want us to be afraid because they want to protect those secrets. So let's let the government disclosure subject go. Let's look at what's happening in our lives. He said that true disclosure is not a government release of classified files. It's a global spiritual awakening. It's a realization of our interconnectedness. And I've told you this. If we do not unify, we are fragmented, divided, judgmental, and that is farthest from source, which is one thing. We're creating it. We are still source, one beautiful thing, but we can create any kind of chaos and darkness that we want. It's an experience. We get to choose it. It's not ultimately what we are. So just remember, you can choose separation, and then you will be in the basement. You will not know or experience what I'm talking about today. Bledsoe said that humanity is entering a new age where empathy and consciousness will replace traditional religious conflict and materialistic ego. Yes, we're seeing it. People are stepping away from materialism, drinking water in plastic bottles, and making different choices. And by the way, they're wonderful. Guys, I have all kinds of stuff in my description of choices you can make that get you away from that world that supports garbage, toxins, and harming your body. You have to make this choice. So let's talk about the actual prophecies for 2026. The year 2026 is defined by the marker for disclosure, a tremendous transition for humanity, a tremendous one. I told you this is a huge year. It's just the kicker for the rest of it. The government will never release its secrets. The disclosure is spiritual awakening rather than declassification of files. So let's talk about what that is. Awakening to God and consciousness. The realization that God is real. And what is that power? It's not in the form you may think. It's not some separate person making decisions. It is all things. It's tough to wrap your head around that. And that humanity has a divine connection to consciousness. It is. Okay? It is not separate from you. So no matter what you're experiencing right now, you are as connected as Christ. And he says that, he said that, right? We are more than our physical bodies. Next, the return of the divine feminine. He describes a lady who appeared to him stating that the powers in the heavens had shifted and the divine feminine is returning to restore balance and peace after a time of trouble. These are the times of trouble, and this is what we're going into restoration. Next, exposing the darkness. This is big time. Part of this transition involves exposing the darkness, which he includes revealing deception, evil, and nefarious activities by those at the top of global power structures. Get ready. More stuff's going to come out, and it's going to be shocking or maybe not so shocking. We're going to hear it, and we're calling out people instead of looking up to them. Do not idolize another person. You are on equal playing ground. So let's talk about the signs and public spectacles. the Iran-Israel conflict. A specific sign given to Bledsoe was that when missiles are exchanged between Iran and Israel, the phenomenon would begin to come into this world to wake up the people and stop human suffering before it goes too far. You're going to love this. This is going to be shocking. A Fatima-like event. Bledsoe believes that there may be a public spectacle similar to the miracle of Fatima, where the presence of the lady is filmed and shown to the world to remove any shadow of the doubt regarding the reality of these beings. And they're everywhere. They're just on a higher frequency, sending love and light, but they cannot interfere with our free will. So don't think that you can pray and they're going to do something for us. We have the power to do it. Mass presence. Bledsoe describes a vision of the phenomenon appearing in a mass numbers at once. This is so exciting, which some in government circles refer to as catastrophic disclosure because it would force the truth upon the world by passing government control, right? They're going to lose control when we go, wait, there's some beautiful higher power that's way more powerful than anything here on earth. And people are going to look to that and get together in one unified field. Let's talk about human evolution and transformation. Psychic abilities, I've shared all this with you. Psychic abilities, you may be feeling this. Superpowers and psychic abilities will be developed, such as remote viewing and telepathy. You all can do this. You don't need to look to somebody else to do it. You can practice it yourself. I don't really care about remote viewing. I care about what I'm doing at this moment that's creating. Focus on that and you'll change everything in your life. It's going to be mind-blowing for you. Miracles. Increased empathy. A core prediction is this experience will transform humans from being ego-driven and materialistic to deeply empathetic, caring, and open. I'm seeing it happen. Caring about one another and bringing this world together. Oh my gosh, it's so exciting. End of religious division. The transition is predicted to force the world's religions to set aside their differences and unite under the realization of a shared God consciousness. We don't have to, mine's right, yours. God is all things. It's your thoughts and beliefs. It's mine. It's everybody's. When we realize that, we'll respect our differences. And it's okay to be different. That's what makes you so beautiful. Timeline observations. While 2026 is highlighted as the key year, he notes that it is also a time of trouble. It began in 2019. He also mentions specific symbols and numbers he recently filmed in an orb he believes point to significant events occurring between, you ready for this? March 15th and 20th of this year. He may be wrong about this. I don't know, but I'm going to be watching. What about this lady that appears who's giving him this information? He said that she is the divine feminine, and he believes she represents a power returning to the world to restore balance. He describes her as an angelic being who possesses a divine connection to consciousness. He saw her as a floating, glowing, white, beautiful presence on a hillside or cliff in a desert. This is the future. This is the future thing that he envisioned. He notes that her physical appearance, specifically having red eyes and a body glowing like glass. Red eyes, we go, oh, it's evil. But red's, it's a color, okay? It matches descriptions of angelic beings found in the biblical book of Daniel. He also draws parallels between her and historical figures across cultures. Isis, I know you're connecting it to something, but there's an entity known as Isis in Egypt or the Holy Spirit in the Christian tradition. Stop grabbing onto this negativity, okay? And signs of what they mean. Human beings have tagged that purposely to keep you away from what was meant to be positive. Let go of the symbols and the signs and go in here. You will know if something is of a higher frequency. The big core message centers on a transition into a new age of knowledge and consciousness, a choice for humanity. She said that we are facing right now a choice between destruction. She referenced it as Armageddon, or a path of new consciousness and peace. Here's the good part, right? We have a choice, Armageddon or total peace. We get to choose it. This is not inevitable. It's just the destruction we've been heading toward by our own actions. You and I can change all this. We're already doing that. She said that a time of trouble will precede this transition, and we're in it. He states this period began in 2019 when she said, everyone lock your doors. Do you know, remember when I gave you that? I said something global's happening. Get ready for it, prepare for it, get your house in order. There's a whole video on this I did months before we had our little lockdown. And she gave the same message. Yes, you're on this level too. Everybody is. I'm not claiming to be on the level of total consciousness, the lady. However, you're going to sense these things, times of trouble. A sign for intervention. She shared that when missiles are exchanged between Iran and Israel, the phenomenon will begin to enter the world in mass numbers to wake up the people and stop human suffering before it goes too far. Exposing the darknet, unity of religions, the promise of a public miracle. She said when the time is right, she will allow him and a small team of people to film her presence in a public spectacle, similar to the miracle of Fatima. Woo, this is super cool. This event is intended to provide miracles and remove any shadow of doubt. This is going to happen this year regarding the reality of these beings, their connection to God. All right. Here's something that she said that I'm very excited about. She said, there is one caveat to free will. If we're going to go into Armageddon, they will stop it. They will stop it. Who's they? Bledsoe doesn't even know. They will not allow us to destroy ourselves. And I've shared this with you. Don't worry about, this final war that's going to take us out. It will be stopped. They've already demonstrated through shutting down missile facilities quite often that we don't have control over that, and they can stop it. This is beautiful. Now, here's what he said about December. Bledsoe said there was a significant shift that occurred in December 2025. Key events he reported from that time include a sudden shift in behavior. He noted that the world formed in December, the phenomenon shifted suddenly and began acting differently than it had previously. I picked up on that, and I didn't know that was going on. Did you feel that? Let me know in your comments. Intense new colors. He observed orbs appearing in intense green and yellows. Nikki staying here, she attracts orbs. They follow her everywhere. She filmed them here in my house. Guess what? They're green and gold ones that she doesn't usually see. How ironic, not so ironic. Flashing symbols and numbers. So he saw this on orbs. You may be seeing numbers and orbs, all kinds of things. Pay attention to those numbers. He believed that some of these numbers flashed in orbs represent a code or sign regarding the time of future events. March 15th through the 20th was one of them. How do you get ready for this? You got to let go of everything that is destructive, judgmental, separation, blame, differences that you don't approve of, controlling others. But I want him or her to be awake. And I said, then you better get this in check, because if you want somebody to be different than they are, you don't understand that their pathway is theirs and you'll never understand it. And they may go to hell in a handbasket, and that's their choice. All right? This is allowing the experience, understanding that every single person here is allowed their experience and that they have to make that choice within it, whether they ascend, whether they make higher choices, or whether they go down the crapper because they believe that they're not worthy, then they'll do that. And if they leave this planet that way, they're eternal. Don't worry about it. Nobody gets left behind. There's no such thing as time anyways. When you let go of this, like, wow, there's no urgency other than this moment. You can go to the leaderboard and the Pac-Man came. You can go to the penthouse in the mansion, but don't skip those floors. When a challenge comes, as I mentioned earlier, take them head on and say, woo, okay, I have to clear this up. What's going on? A job change or a relationship change, and how do I handle this in the best possible way? When I got divorced, I didn't even get an attorney. And the day we walked out of the house, packed up our stuff, I hugged him and I said, I wish you a beautiful life ahead. That's how we left it. We got a piece of paper and said, this is yours, this is yours. We packed it, that's it. Conflict and arguing serves no one but the people who charge you for it. Okay? So I'm going to do a second video. We're going to go deeper into this. I'm going to cover more of this. But based on the sources, Chris Bledsoe predicts that a significant window of time will occur between March 15th and March 20th. He came up with those dates after analyzing raw video files of an intense green orb that had a message in December when I felt the shift. And this is where he's coming up with this. He sees this vision of her appearing in some desert area. He doesn't know exactly where. He's going after it to explore it. What is this upcoming event? It's part of a larger transition or awakening for humanity, moving away from a time of trouble and toward a new age of consciousness. Now, he didn't share the missiles flying and the chaos in the streets and that because he thought it would scare the crap out of us. The whole history of the planet's been that big whoop. What we want to hear is it's changing and we're doing it, but you have to take that action. In my next video, I'm going to go over the psychic superpowers associated with the awakening and what that is going to do to humanity and how it's going to shake up anything else that doesn't have our best interests in mind, and it cannot be stopped. It's already in action. If you are part of the love and compassion, the unity, letting go of the blame, and self-deprecation, I'm not good enough, poor little me, that's still ego, by the way. I'm not good enough. I'm like, get over yourself, all right? We have a bigger mission. Oops, you know what this is. So next video, we're going to go over what's going to happen, what this means, and if you are on board with awakening, get ready. You're going to experience it whether you try to or not. It's going to show up because the veils are dropping and it's going to blow your mind and you'll start seeing things, but you're not going to fear it. You'll realize this is an unlimited universe. Of course, there's everything in it and it's beautiful. Higher frequencies, they're not dense like us. Woo-wee! Get ready for some amazing things. So in the next video, I'm also going to share some things about the events on the planet, about cataclysmic Earth planet things, particularly earthquakes, volcanoes. I'm going to share something with you that is fact, it's scientific, and it's going to make total sense, and it's not woo-woo, and you're going to be mind blown by this. Oh my gosh, we must do this, and that's all going to change. Get ready for that and how we're going to prepare for the March 15th, because what you do between now and March 15th is going to really take you into a space that's going to elevate you. And this is just the start. And it's going to kick off the golden era. But again, a time of trouble. We're in it. It is the release of the unstable foundations so that we can rebuild. And we're doing it now. Do you love this? So I hope that you will subscribe. Please share my videos and like them. It tells YouTube I want this material. I want more of this positive material. And therefore, you'll see videos out there more and more positive, and people stop watching the fear-based stuff. YouTube's going to switch. We'll change the algorithms because you and I are choosing it. If you desire some free videos and master classes in my Breakthrough Fear series, I'm releasing the Conscious Creator Vault here shortly. I know I've been saying it for a couple weeks. I'm still working on it. And every 30 days, the vault opens and you get information on your progression from human to conscious human to consciousness. Then we go into chic sustainability, how to live in the physical world on that level. All kinds of suggestions you're going to love, from clothing to interior design to foods to all kinds of cool stuff. The last one is conscious contribution. You get all of those lessons every 30 days. And that is now, how am I earning? How can I change that? Do I hate my career? Is there something else I need to do? We talk about that, and your contribution just in general to the world. It's not just about earning money. All of those things are going to come in the Conscious Creators Vault, being released here soon. So if you sign up for landriaonka.com, free inspiration, you'll get that announcement. But you'll go into a pretty cool email series that has these webinars and things that help you to move past fear. How do we reprogram this? Stop the stupid stories, okay? I'm over it. Are you? So these videos are going to get more and more specific and intense. Casey, Cannon, yeah, they said some great stuff, but their final message was always, you can change this. I'm telling you, you can change this because you're whole and you're perfect. Strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. That's from the Master Key System that healed somebody who was given a few months to live, ended up being healed and living to be an old man, and you can do the same. There's nothing outside of your abilities. Just remember, if something shows up, it's not something going wrong. It's the challenge that allows you to go up a floor to the penthouse. It's pretty simple, right? It's fun. We came here for this. Enjoy it. I know it's nerve-wracking sometimes, but once you go into it and you realize what it is, it's the challenge. Like running a marathon doesn't feel good, but people do it. Why? Because when they get to that final ending, they did it. It's amazing. That's what this is. You're ready for it? I'll see you in the next video when we go into more detail, and I'm going to share with you something about earthquakes and the earth events that we can actually stop. Pretty cool, huh? See you there. Namaste.